Assalamu alaikum. My name is Salim Siddiqui, and thanks for watching this continuing series on the hotconflict.com website. We're talking about the unseen world and discussing some of these supernatural and spiritual concepts of Islam and making an open discussion and telling the story to help you understand the pattern of what's going on and dealing with it in open and clear concepts, especially giving heads up to light workers and people on the ascension path who know what they're looking for, and giving also special heads up to people who are dealing with UFOs, aliens, and disclosure, and then also identifying areas where Muslims need to focus and realize what it is they have that they haven't seen yet. And going through the story as we continue and talking about some of the interesting things that happen on this earth to help us to prepare for the coming changes that many people in various communities are telling you are going to happen very soon. That being said, right now we're going to go straight back into the story of the prophets, and we were getting into the time where we said that we can understand that many ancient civilizations have established themselves on the earth, and it is now becoming clear that there has been various bloodlines and mixing and intermixing of humans from this planet and other planets, along with other possible jinn, or what Westerners might call alien, non-human races, and some interesting stories that have been mixed through. We're not going to go through all of the details, and the reason why is because brothers and sisters from the stars and from other races are going to be openly discussing their own history and what they interacted with humankind in the very near future, and we'll be getting into more of that coming up before the end of the night, inshallah, God willing. But right now we're talking about the fact that on the earth we have different communities all over the globe, each having their own unique nature, culture, language, myths, stories, all depicting similar concepts, and many of them have temples or monuments erected on certain places around the earth, which we're now realizing are not randomly situated, but they're situated in specific spots that happen to coincide with the lines or meridians of the earth, because we said we were talking about some of the spiritual concepts of chakras in the body and clearing of the chakras and tones, but we said in the earlier video that even the earth itself has different chakras and meridians and ley lines, and people are starting to recognize this in a larger sense, and that many of the ancient monuments or temples or pyramids are built on specific locations for a reason, and it's not random. We also see that various temples were trying to teach and educate people about various spiritual aspects that they should learn, but we see that whether it was having to do with nature or technology or construction or various other issues, as society progressed, either the communities lost touch with what was the original spiritual message, or along with the deceptions in the dark, got misguided into associating false ideas with the real message that they were sent with. And this continued to happen with every community that existed, and they all went through their various cycles here on this earth. We got to the point where we said we were getting ready for the story of Abraham. And it's important that we talk about this, because one of the things that I do in talking about the story from a Muslim point of view is always try to put everything in perspective, and saying that we're light workers or ascended masters or understanding the essence of spirituality and the oneness of everything. It's important for me as a Muslim to always make clear how things are more similar and how a lot of the misconceptions of people who aren't familiar with Islam are misunderstood. And so amongst Muslims, Abraham is considered one of the most important prophets, the father of the prophethood. And this is the case with the Christians, and this is also the case with the Jews. Now, this is important for all the people who are not in the religious community, who are just quote-unquote spiritual, who don't think that God has actually sent specific prophets with specific scripture, that you need to start to understand that there are beings of light or prophets of light from the family of light that have been specifically assigned tasks within the pattern or plan of the Lord. Then, when they act, it is in harmony, in resonance, within the vibration or in accordance with the divine destiny or the will of the Lord, that success is the outcome. If it is not within the plan of the Lord or on the appropriate methodology, then we find continuous destruction and disaster, no matter how noble the intentions may be. So we have to have some kind of source or criterion or Fractal. And so we go back straight into Abraham. Now, Abraham's story is so beautiful because we see Abraham, even as a young child, in a noble house with his father, being a leader, but the whole society is based on paganism. And the idea of one true God, or the law of one, or Tawheed, or Muwahidun, oneness, true monotheism, is not upon this earth. And Abraham becomes the pillar, the nation, al-ummah, the one in and of himself who establishes the light on this planet and changes or properly enacts his noble role as one of the great archetypes or leaders or noble messengers. Peace and blessings be upon our father Abraham on this planet, sending us on this noble path that we are in right now. But what really happens? We know in the scriptures, Abraham goes through the searching process. Now, it's important because we're talking about light workers or path showers or way showers or people who use these titles, ascended masters, that what I do here is show you the story or tell you the story and hope that you see the importance of the issues. When we have in scripture where the Lord Most High tells us that Abraham is looking for the truth, and here in this perspective, we see that many of the signs always point to the same thing. When we talked about the differences between Cain and Abel in the original unseen first parts, remember we said there was a connection to the sky. Then when we talked about some of the ancient communities and their connection to the sky, and they're even building temples that point to certain constellations in the sky. And Abraham goes out in search of the truth, the intention, the desire to seek. And I always talk about some strange issues and have a little fun with pop culture, and that's because I know, and I don't mean to sound arrogant when I say this, I know, not for myself, but for you, my brothers and sisters who are listening to this, that if you are listening to this and you have made the intention to actually seek the truth, I know with a certainty that you are going to find it, just by the fact that you are listening to this. See, all spiritual leaders can say things that are magnanimous and magnificent because they know in part of the grand plan that it is only those who are ready to hear and understand that will truly comprehend. And those who hear that know that when they hear it, they say, yes, we do understand that this brother speaking to us of the light understands beyond time and space, that the very essence of the speaker speaking and the listener hearing is something that is destined. And so Ibrahim, our noble father, looks up to the skies and he searches for that noble light, that truth, that never ending, that which has no beginning and no end, the creator, the source of all that is, the ultimate truth. And he looks to the stars and he sees them twinkling and he wonders. And then he looks to the moon and the moon sets or doesn't say full. And then he looks to the sun and he asks these questions and he wants to know, what is the true Lord? The true Lord is, as we know, unseen as you are listening to the very series.